Hey everyone, welcome back to Ford Mustang Garage. Today we're going to do something a little simple here on a 67 coupe with the C4 automatic. We're going to do a transmission pan reseal. Very simple process. Most people can do this by themselves. I'm going to do a quick little video on it to show what gaskets I use, what I use to seal it on, and what kind of fluid I use. At the end of the video, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put those below. If you have any tips or tricks that you know that you don't see in the video and could maybe add to my experience, that would be fantastic. Don't be afraid to comment. I learn stuff about Mustangs every single day. I learn stuff about cars every single day. I definitely don't know everything there is to know. So if you see something that you think that maybe I don't know, I want to hear about it. So leave your comments below. That would be awesome. We're going to start by taking this pan off and letting the fluid drain down into this pan. There are 1/2-inch bolts around this C4 oil pan. I like to just loosen it first, let it start dripping. I like to take out one side of them first, so that way the pan will just kind of tip, get all your fluid draining. By the time you get down to your last bolt, most of your fluid has already come out. So you're probably safe to just kind of pop that up. Now everything should be free. Make sure you clean out all your varnish and debris inside the pan. Usually there's just kind of light sediment that's inside of there. You can get new filters for these. They are just a screen, but what we're after inside of this is just this gasket. Alright guys, so we got the transmission pan off of this C4. So now we're going to drop the little filter screen that's on there. I got an AutoZone Duralast kit, part number TF126 for that. So with these kits, the only thing I use out of here is the actual filter screen. They come with a rubber gasket. I throw those in the trash because they're pretty much junk and worthless. What I do use, however, is the Pro pan gasket, the TOS 18632 part. So that's what I use It's a composite gasket, and it's way better sealing than that rubber gasket that they include in the filter kit. So that's what we're going to use. Okay, so on these filter screens, one bolt that is a 7/16 and the rest that are 5/16. So kind of a weird thing. I like to get all these bolts started first before I crank anything down. There's no sealing gasket or anything on this. This is just a screen that bolts up in there. You don't use any kind of silicone or gasket or anything like that. The other thing that I don't like to do when I put this back together is use power tools or air tools, because the bolts are so small, like even just a little air ratchet can actually break these bolts off. This has enough power to do so, so I like to just kind of snug these by hand. Okay, not a lot of torque on those little bolts, just snug. Yeah, very light on that, very easily broken off on those guys. So anyway, so that's your filter screen there on your C4 automatic. So what we're going to do is clean off all these surfaces here. If you have a bunch of goop and gunk and gasket left over, we're going to clean that. Same thing on the pan. You can clean up the pan and then prep our gasket for reinstall. Okay, so we're going to do our gasket prep here on this car. I love using Permatex ultra black oil resistant stuff, the right stuff. Lots of traffic going by today, sorry guys. The right stuff by Permatex is also really good, but you definitely can't go wrong with the ultra black oil resistant silicone on here. So that's what we have for today. Okay, we got our gasket. In case you missed it the first time, TOS 18632 from Felpro, composite gasket, not a rubber. I also do enjoy the cork ones as well because they just seal better. They just seal better than the rubber ones. I get a lot of leaky transmission pan gaskets where people have just installed the rubber gasket and just crank it down tight and the gasket pushes out everywhere and it just never seals up all the way. So, okay, so if you've seen some other videos of mine, you will see we do all my gaskets like this. Not all my gaskets, just all my gaskets that require sealing. So I'm going to put silicone on both sides, just to kind of do a nice little bead. Like so. I'm going to spread it around. Use my fingers and spread it around the gasket like this. Silicone is not meant to seal. Your gasket is meant to seal. Your silicone is meant to seal your imperfections in either your pan or the gasket itself. So you don't need, like, you know, you see people just goop this stuff like crazy on here, and then when you put it on the pan and tighten it up, it just squeezes out and oozes out. I see a lot of water pumps and timing covers like that, and it just kind of looks bad. Looks unprofessional. Looks like someone that is not very experienced did it. So I try to make mine not look like that. Only put on there what you need and tighten it down correctly, and it's going to seal. It's going to look good. You're not going to have, you know, silicone just oozing out everywhere. Okay, so here's our gasket all prepped. If you can get a good look at that. It's just kind of, everything's just kind of coated, just kind of lightly coated on there. So now this is ready for our pan. We've already cleaned our pan, we've already cleaned the transmission surface, and so we're going to put this on, get the bolts up in there nice and even, and go around nice and snug. So again, when I install these, I like to get everything started. I don't crank anything down until everything's started. And I also don't like using, I don't like using power tools or air tools. Just get it by hand. And then you're least likely to break off bolts. Even these are, you know, a little bigger than the filter kit bolts, but they're still only 1/2-inch bolts, and they can be broken off very easily. Okay, everything is started. So now I'm just going to kind of go around the pan and tighten little by little. Okay, so now I've gone around this thing, Now you can see kind of how the gasket looks. It's not pushed out or anything. There's not silicone oozing out the sides. It's a nice even seal. And that's how she should look. So from here I like to get okay, so from here I like to get a little bit of dry time on it before I add fluid. On a hot day like today, this thing will probably be good and dry after 2 to 3 hours. If you're working in the winter time, I like to let them sit overnight. But anyways, Motorcraft Type F is the fluid that I'm going to use in this car. We're going to top it off. Obviously don't forget to put this in before you start it up. You don't want to start it up dry. So we're going to put Motorcraft Type F in there. I think we'll get about 3 quarts in there, if I remember correctly, before it starts oozing out the vent tube. And then start it, and then add as needed. So Motorcraft Type F will do the job. And that is our transmission pan reseal with a filter replacement. Okay, and remember, if you're watching, if you see some tips and tricks that maybe you know about that you didn't see in the video, don't be afraid to make those comments and suggestions. I like learning new things. That's why I work on these cars, and I do learn new things every single day. I don't know everything there is to know about cars or Mustangs. I don't think anybody does, and we should always strive to get better and learn as much as we can, because these old cars, we got to keep them alive, and people that know how to work on these things are going away. We gotta keep the ability to keep these things going alive. So anyways, thanks for watching.